US president is on day 2 of his state visit this morning. He's been to meet Keir Starmer at Chequers for a bilateral meeting. Yesterday, he attended a lavish banquet at Windsor Castle, where he said this.
Special relationship, but seen from American eyes, the word special does not begin to do it justice. The bond of kinship and identity between America and the United Kingdom is priceless and eternal. It's irreplaceable and unbreakable.
Wow. This idea of a special relationship between the UK and US goes way back to a speech made by Winston Churchill in 1946, and it's endured through disagreements and moments of great harmony. We've had fallings out, we've had comings together since then. Now, supporters of Trump's visit say it's good for Britain and bodes well for future relations and possible trade deals. But there are also plenty who don't want a closer tie to the US and specifically President Trump. Do you think it is a special relationship in the way that he's saying, Marvyn, or do you think it's special in this moment and we don't know what the future holds?
So I think state to state, there is a special relationship. Security, resources, culture, we export Premier League to them, they give us films, all that stuff, state to state. Administration to administration, this is probably as far apart as we have been in a very long time in terms of alignment. I think Trump is just a very difficult person to create alignment with. I don't know any country that has alignment with him today. He has broken ties even with Canada at this point. And so I think a lot of the times from a British perspective, we're just kind of hanging on to get through the administration by performatively supporting him until he leaves.
I mean, the commentators that I've heard talking about the way that Starmer and Trump interact says it is deeper than that, and whatever the differences are in vision, if you like, and a view of the world, actually they connect personally very well.
Well, I think I would say that that's presentation, because I think Keir Starmer probably finds it very difficult to deal with and probably finds very little personally that they have alignment on. It is his job as Prime Minister to maintain that relationship with the US at all costs. And if you have to smile, you have to smile. But I think that goes against the energy and the thoughts of the rest of Britain, that when we left Brexit, it was about us standing in the world on our own to being this powerful nation. But when the US come around, we cower. And the fact that even Donald Trump, with some of the footage I saw this week of him walking in front of King Charles and leaving him by the wake, shows that he doesn't respect or understand any form of protocol. He doesn't respect us truly, because when the tariffs came out, he didn't give us a heads up and say, here's our special deal and relationship. America does what it wants. Britain just tries its best to hold on and make it look good as possible to the British public. But for me, I think it's just embarrassing. Like, as on a personal level of Trump, let's forget the US, on a personal level of Trump, some of the things he has said and done in his lifetime has been some of the worst things I've ever known an adult person to be doing, and we still have to stand next to him because of this relationship. I think it makes us look weak.
I mean, let's face it, Lowri, Donald Trump wouldn't get a job on MasterChef at the moment, would he? And yet we welcome him into this country in the most lavish way.
Because he is the democratically elected president of our most important ally. And actually, I'm amazed at how charming he's being to Starmer, because Marvyn's right, they don't agree at all politically, but actually he's been terribly charming. And I think that what this does is it shows the world one of the things that makes Britain great. You have the King and the Queen and William and Kate, and they're all done up in tiaras, and there's coaches, and all of that brand, that British heritage brand, is on full display and will be shown not just in America but around the world.
But
so I think it's very helpful.
These terms like charm and brand, they feel kind of superficial. They feel like we don't know what the next couple of years are going to hold. We've seen the reaction in the US to Charlie Kirk's shooting. We don't know what is going to happen next, whether Donald Trump will insist that he does more than 2 terms. What does he become then?
Oh, come on, don't be ridiculous.
Why clip that?
Please clip that.
No, hang on. I don't think that's completely ridiculous. He was elected democratically. You might as well are you going to call him a fascist now? You're going to start calling him a Nazi?
He's authoritarian,
like everybody. No, well, I think people who are authoritarian,
he tried to subvert democracy on January the 6th, didn't he?
I think people who call me for being gender critical, a fascist, a bigot, a Nazi, I think that's fascist. I think he's come the president has come and he's been very pleasant. And yes, he might have walked in front of Charles. Maybe Charles needs to speed up a bit. You know, Trump is a man in a hurry. He's got
dismiss our
stuff to
own
do.
royal family
I
to
just
serve
I think that we have
Trump's
to,
ego.
as part of diplomacy, we have to welcome all kinds of people from all kinds of countries that we might not agree with, but if they've been democratically elected.
Whoa, wait a second. Wait a second. Can't say that. What do you mean?
This is the
That's not true.
dilemma we're always faced
Yes.
with Donald Trump, is that he is democratically elected, and we can't ignore that. He's head of state in that way, and yet so many
How
of the
much
things...
performance do you give
there are
him?
also
So
many
we've had
people-
democratically elected people who we don't do all of this fanfare and performance for, right? As I said, state to state, we are aligned, and there are deeper things that go way beyond even his own pay grade about what we're trying to do together, and legacy is 100 years old. But the amount of performance that he is getting, while he doesn't actually even respect this king to walk alongside of him, I think is too much.
There is we can do diplomacy without that, without
But
the
I
lavish
like all
display.
this. Why should we do without this? Because this is an advert to the world about one of the things that Britain does really, really.
What's the advert saying?
We should be proud to see this. I'm
We
really
can see it without
proud
him,
when I
though.
see it.
I like
just
seeing
think,
it too.
You know, you might dislike him, but actually, I think we do know that this special relationship has been very beneficial for Britain. There's been a big announcement about a kind of tech deal,
That's been great.
1.25 billion. When the tariffs were announced, we were the first country to get a bilateral deal. There is no doubt that we are treated specially
Well,
by
special
America.
is
and
calling
that's
me
a really
before
good
you
thing.
change the world on me.
But I
That's
mean, what's the
special.
obligation that goes with it? Because there have been times during the special relationship since the Second World War where we have said no, where we have been tougher, when we didn't go into Vietnam, for instance, Marvyn.
True.
But the closeness that we generate, that specialness, if you like, gives us the ability to be a critical friend at times as well. That's useful,
But
isn't
we're
it?
not being critical of him. So I think nobody is being critical of him at this point. Anyone that's in power, including countries, everybody is being as polite and as sweet as possible to maintain his ego. And I think that shows a lot of weakness on the world stage, that we cannot sit there and say, we actually don't agree on a lot of
You
things.
might.
They
I
don't
agree with a lot
They
of
don't
them.
agree.
There's a
The
lot of
state doesn't
people-
agree.
There's a lot of people
The
in the
state
UK.
doesn't agree with them
You're
on Middle
assu-
East.
but
The
you
state
are
doesn't agree
hang
with them on
You
China.
are
Doesn't agree with them
both
on
of you,
Ukraine.
to be, can I speak?
I was in the middle of speaking, just to be clear.
there are-
They are not in agreement, right? And they're not in agreement on a lot of things, and those things are not publicly being said. What we are doing is pretending that those things don't exist, and we are focusing on the things that do exist, right? I understand that, but what I'm saying is it's not the powerful Britain that I was told that we are fighting for, but we cannot do within the EU. That was
But
a
the point
big
I would
statement.
like to
Oh,
make is
I'll
that,
just
but
remind
how
people-
both of you are assuming that the British public don't support Trump. There are a lot of us who actually would like Trump
64%
here.
said that they do not, and they don't think he should be here.
That's quite a large number of people who do support his policies.
35 versus 64.
But you're
If that was
assuming
Brexit, we
that
would be in
normal
Europe.
people dislike Trump. Not true. Not
I don't
true.
think that assumption is. Listen, I want to make sure we get as many calls in as we can. 0207862 2222. You can hear what the panel think about it. Absolutely, your gander is up. I just wonder whether there's going to be a moment, Lowri, when we look back at these scenes and we have lost the ability to separate state from the human being that it is Donald Trump. Look at the way that Peter Mandelson and his association with Jeffrey Epstein was scrutinised. He lost his job as the ambassador to the United States, and yet somebody with the same sort of proximity to Epstein is being welcomed
Well, no,
in the
not
most
somebody
lavish
with the
way.
same proximity.
Yes.
We don't know about the proximity, but also
just saw them-
again, you seem to have an obsession with how awful Trump is. Actually, look at the things he's doing in the States, and I would support that. And I'd like to see
What is he doing?
the same kind of things happening. That we have some strong borders here, for example. Those people who have committed crimes in the UK who are not British are sent back.
Do you think
That
we'd have
stuff-
elected somebody with 34 convictions for fraud?
Well, I think that we would elect somebody
Lowri
who might
would.
have a strong conviction-based policies. We have a Prime Minister who appears to stand for nothing. I have no idea what
Slightly
he stands
different
for.
meaning of
Yeah.
conviction. We're going to take a call. Rob's in Birmingham. Rob, do you think the special relationship still exists, and do we need it?
I think there is a special relationship, definitely with all countries, as it should be. However, I don't think we should have that relationship with Trump. One, I believe, is a war criminal. He's also got links with Epstein. And what I don't understand is that if the royal family had distanced themselves from a family member, being Prince Andrew, yet they open arms to Trump.
Okay,
who's
Rob, when
within
you
the
say
same circle.
he's a war criminal, That's a heavy accusation. He's never been accused of war crimes, has he? He's never been convicted of war crimes.
Well, anyone who's complicit, the UN have actually stated that what's going on in the Middle East, especially in Gaza and Palestine, who are a recognised state, the UN have said that, yeah, this is a genocide. So anyone who is funding that, they're part of being complicit with that. And that's the same, and I think that's what Keir Starmer and President Trump hold in common.
Well, hold on. Keir Starmer, I mean, my understanding was that Donald Trump said we disagree on things, but we can still be together. We can still go forward together. That kind of disagreeing agreeably seems to be the conclusion they've come to. And that benefits all of us, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does to a degree, but what I don't agree with is the way Trump does business. He's been a bully in the way he's come across. He's raised tariffs on many trade within the UK as well as other countries as well. And if they don't agree with what his policies are, he will just raise the tariffs. That isn't good business. That is bad sportsmanship.
Okay.
I just think that's really, really bad. As Great Britain, we call ourselves Great Britain. If we are great, we shouldn't be bowing down to people like Trump.
OK, Rob, thanks very much for your call. Gina is in London. Gina, what do you think? Is the special relationship intact? Does it mean something? Is it something we should cherish?
Morning. Well, as far as I'm concerned, it's not a special relationship. It's one person buying another person, paying for Trump, someone who... paying for a bully. It's like at school when someone's bullying you and your mum gives you lots of chocolates and sweets to bring to that person to be your friend. So this is not a special relationship. When Trump first came in the second time round, he criticised Britain. He criticised the mayor. He shamed Britain by saying they came to him begging, and they owe him. Starmer had to buy him, spending all that money for one person when he's talking about pensioners. There's not enough money in the purse to look after pensioners or the NHS. There's no money. And then you've got this one person who you're paying how many millions on for one day. And not just that, but he's hiding him. If it's the state's paying for him, but yet it's done behind closed doors. This is supposed to be out in the open. It's embarrassing because what you're saying is that the public do not want to see him. Okay, not all the public, but because they know it's wrong, they've got to hide him in the dark.
He has had 2 assassination attempts.
Can I just finish? It's like being in a bad relationship. It's like being you're a married man or a married woman and you're having an affair and you've got to hide your partner.
Okay.
This person should be out in the open. It's embarrassing. It's disgusting.
Is this something distasteful?
I can't even believe the royal family and our government are disgusting. Really disgusting.
Thanks for your thoughts, Gina. Gina, I just want to put this to Lowri because it seems to be, directly taking on what you were saying, Lowri. Is there something distasteful about putting on a 160-seat banquet when we know that this winter there are going to be families who struggle to put food on the table? No,
because that's the job of the royal family, is to put the pomp and ceremony, to put us on the world stage in that way. Otherwise, what's the point of having the royal family? That's what they're there to do.
I want to take another call. Caroline's in Manchester. Is the special relationship intact? Is it something you value, Caroline?
Yeah. Yes, I do.
Tell me why.
And to be honest with you, Matt, Marvyn doesn't speak on behalf of me. So when he says everyone in Britain hates Trump, I don't. I love him. And I'll tell you why. Because Starmer is an embarrassment. He's the worst Prime Minister in my life.
Caroline, they're getting on like a house on fire. So what are we going to do? Are we going to replace Starmer with somebody else that Trump might not get on with?
Like Farage?
Yeah. I love Farage.
OK.
Any day of the week. If there was a general election tomorrow, Matt, Farage would be Prime Minister.
He doesn't like Farage. I'm confused. Why would he? He doesn't like him.
He's brilliant.
He ignored him.
He's brilliant.
OK. we're
Can
going
I also just respond to that? I did say that 64% of Britain doesn't like him and doesn't think he should be getting this treatment, and 34% are probably either indifferent or do like him. That's twice as many people that don't like him. So I'm speaking for those people specifically.
Okay, and Caroline's spoken for those who do. Thank you for your call, Caroline. Don't forget, later on we're going to be asking if personal number plates are nice.